Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/Today I Effed Up, which houses some of the funniest stories found on the internet, and this one by user/spilt coconut milk is no exception. Cruising at a wholly unnatural speed to Luton Airport didn't feel right. No agitation, no constantly checking the clock and Google Maps, no imaginary thoughts of strangling the taxi driver because he's not driving fast enough. Arriving at the airport 90 minutes before departure time was an alien-like concept for once. I hadn't left everything to the last minute. Unfortunately, I didn't have my Oscar thank you speech prepared, but it was a momentous occasion to say the absolute least. With more time than Moses in the desert, I expertly chose to pair my lightly spiced pre-rolled hash zubi with an Americana, swiftly followed by hoovering down 2 smokes. It's always funny to watch smokers when they know it's going to be their last smoke in a while. This stuff gets real emotional. So I roll into the airport feeling like a top boss. Stansted's very own Don Corleone. The holy trinity of nicotine, THC, and caffeine pumping through my veins. Yeah, this is bliss. What should I do? Get a big fat Burger King, or maybe pick up a book or two? Could even push the boat out and get convinced by a duty-free lady to buy an aftershave I didn't need. My imagination was drifting. The options were limitless. Casually strolling up to the departure screen to check my gate number, something suddenly wasn't quite sitting right. Oh no, it all abruptly clicked a little too late as I felt my heart sink out of my butt. Only in the wrong place, aren't I? This is an EasyJet airport, and I'm meant to be flying with Ryanair. Stuffed was an understatement, as probably was massive bell end idiot. Stansted Airport was an hour away by taxi, and my flight departure time was also just about an hour away. Now, I'm not the best at maths. Terrible Indian, I know, but I'm pretty sure it most definitely was not working in my favor. For F's sake, why do I always do this? Why? How? Obviously rhetorical questions, but if you want an answer, your guess is as good as mine. Nothing to do with copious amounts of Mary Jane I'd consumed this morning. As I frantically looked up the next flights leaving from both airports, they all cost in excess of £700. All the London Manx heading to the UEFA Cup final in Stockholm. I couldn't really afford that unless I wanted to survive on a nutritious university diet of cornflakes and water for my stay in Scandinavia. Not having many options left, doing like all respectable men do, I resorted to God and said my prayers while pelting it to the taxi stand. There were people in the queue, but this was an emergency, so I flung myself across the backseat of the first taxi and screeched at the poor befuddled man my time-ticking bomb of a predicament. The fella gives me the most skeptical, horrific look, raises an eyebrow, considers, and then says he thinks we can make it in time. Of course he effing does. He's happy to take my money for a lost cause. What an idiot. I was starting to feel the pressure if you couldn't tell. Whatever, at least we were on our way. The next hour consisted of what I was trying to avoid earlier. Google Maps, watch, Google Maps, watch. Is he driving slow on purpose? Why the F do I always do this? All I had to do was check my boarding pass or confirmation or anything else. What the F is wrong with my brain? Eventually, we get to Stansted 10 minutes before the scheduled flight departure time. I shout a thanks at the driver and proceed to sprint at top speed into the airport. Never really a wise idea for an unshaven brown man. Not least the day after the Manchester terror attacks, but I had no option. Screech around the corner and, my worst nightmare. The queue is pretty long and windy. Undeterred, channeling my inner Lewis Hamilton, I slam past the first bunch of commuters. Less elegantly bundle past a couple more people. Mumble a few apologies, under a few barriers, around a few others, only one more row to get through. When from out of nowhere, well, not exactly out of nowhere, because he was 6'5" and a beast. He probably needed panoramic mode to take a selfie. This random guy blocks my path. I stepped right, he leans right. I go left, he leans left. I try to sell him the dummy, but he blocks me again. He must have done karate as well. I quickly realize what kind of party it is. If I have to wait in the queue, so do you. I try to quickly reason. My flight's about to depart. Please let... He cuts me off mid-sentence. I don't care. I don't care, mate. I feel my blood boiling with rage, but there was nothing I could do to get around him, and the doubts were starting to creep in. After waiting the most excruciating minute of my existence behind this dream-sucking moron, an opportunity from the gods miraculously presents itself. As if he was listening to my earlier mentioned prayers, as he looks the other way, I dart for freedom under a newly opened barrier. By the time he sees me and roars in disgust, it's too late. I'm already putting my bag through the scanner. So long, sucker. I hope you choke on some of this curry-flavored dust, pal. Checking my pockets whilst walking up to the security guard, I feel something squidgy in my back pocket. I immediately know that's my 1/8 of hash. Can't believe I forgot to leave it at home. It's too late to throw it on the floor or turn around as the security guard already has his beady eyes locked on me. Mortified by my stupidity, I jitter forward with a little poop in my pants. He seems suspicious. I blame the panic on being late. He looks me up and down and nods to move on. The relief is effing immense. But suddenly, the realization that Stansted is the stupidest airport in the galaxy hits like Tyson in his prime. Commercial shops combined with slow-walking imbeciles everywhere. That's how they control the masses. F you capitalism. I hate you all. I glance up at a screen and it's 4 minutes to departure time. I put my head down and run as fast as I can, but my saggy jeans start to ride around my thighs. I had sacrificed putting my belt back on for more running time. Another poor life gamble lost. Unrelenting, one hand clutching my waistband, one hand on my pocket to stop everything falling out, I charge like Chucky on a chase. I'm pretty sure my bag smashes into some poor kid's head. I hear some dad's background abuse, but nothing was going to stop me. Not even this bloody Stitch. Okay, I underestimated you, Stitch. Actually have to stop and peel over. Only 3 gates away from the promised land. After catching my breath, I muster whatever energy I have left to claw myself to the gate as they're shutting the barrier exactly on departure time. Woohoo! Who's the granddaddy of leaving things to the last minute? And the best of it, I don't have to spend the first 2 days in the ghetto finding some dodgy looky African man to buy some highly dubious quality weed. Sometimes it pays to be a gazer. Actually, all things considered, I must be a bloody genius. Wow, IP, I'm not sure how you made it on time, but all the people in those queues probably hate you. Our next step up is presented to us by user/4G down by the river. I've been a paraplegic since a military accident in 2004. I've always lived independently and taken very good care of myself and my butt, because sitting pressure plus lack of sensation and decreased blood flow in paralyzed areas can cause pressure sores that never heal. And I like to be as active as possible. So I check my skin every day with a mirror or phone camera, a belfie, change position, lift myself to allow blood flow, etc. I spent a lot of time in hospital following my initial injury and saw guys living with open weeping sores that never heal. It terrified me. Search for pressure sore paraplegic if you enjoy being disgusted. And I'm proud to say I've never had a pressure sore because I'm so careful. Despite skiing, kayaking, and even paragliding still. Basically, I'm a dumb butt with a numb butt, but I look after it. Normally. I had an open book pelvic fracture when I was hurt back in 2004, and quite a few other problems at the same time, so they put me back together in a bit of a rush, whilst, I don't know, resuscitating me and stuff. My pelvis is now tilted down to one side. When I sit, it's considerably lower and bears all the weight. The leg on that side looks 3 inches longer than the other. As I sat in my car for a 3-hour drive home, that side of my pelvis must have been pushing directly onto the heated element within the seat. Even though it wasn't hot enough to burn immediately, I suffered a low heat burn after 3 hours. Which is way worse than it sounds. I could feel the heat on my lumbar region and never thought it would be able to burn me. I even returned the heat to the low setting to be careful. That night, I checked my skin and found my worst nightmare, which got worse. What initially looked superficial developed a softball-sized blister overnight that burst to show something looking like an effect from The Walking Dead. 2 weeks later, and the first layers of dead tissue are starting to lift. The skin is healing. Now I just have to worry about osteomyelitis. And OP summarizes in his TLDR that this injury will have him out of action for 3 months, where he just pretty much has to lie on his stomach and wait for it to heal. Our next F-up is presented by user/JasonTheFuzz. I'd heard that you can make grilled cheese in the toaster. You turn the toaster on its side, put the bread inside with cheese on the top half, and toast it. Easy. I decided to give it a shot, and so I prepared the bread like I normally do. A little bit of butter on the bottom, cheese on top, and in it went. Immediately after I pressed the button, the butter started to melt and drip onto the heating coils. It started to smoke and the butter began to burn. While I was waving away the smoke and questioning my life choices, the toaster popped and my grilled cheese ended up cheese side down on the ground. Wow, OP, that must really suck. What did you do to deserve this? And our next post is brought to us by user/Cyclan. 13 or so years ago, I worked as a paralegal, having done a law degree at the age of 40. The firm of solicitors I worked at were part of a big chain who produced free wills via workplace offers and trade union deals. People would fill out a form, send it in, and we would construct their will based on the preferences on the form. I was sharing an office with an attractive, funny, and smart young woman, 23, who gave me the appropriate training to complete these wills. At the time, I was 46. She had dumped her boyfriend of several years because she found out he had been sleeping with someone else while she was at university. Their hometown was several hundred miles away. During her brief period of being single, she asked me what sort of age gap between people was acceptable. We had long conversations about it. I told her I knew couples who were 5, 10, 12, 15, and 17 years older and younger than their wife, husband, or partner. She even mentioned that she had heard that centuries ago, older men often married much younger women, as they were more able to take care of said younger women who were more likely to survive childbirth and go on to be a good mother, while the more mature husband's income kept them comfortable. She kept asking my opinion and asked if I would ever consider seeing a younger or older woman than me. Not thinking it very likely, I just shrugged and avoided the question. Throughout the months we worked together, we often went out after work and on the weekends in a group. She would dress very provocatively, and on the occasions she wore stockings, she would let me know she'd do it. I'd previously confessed to having a particular weakness/fondness for them. After several months, she got onto a solicitor's training program and left. We kept in touch and met on occasion for food, coffee, or drinks. After a couple of years, she met someone at her new firm and we stopped meeting. They got married and had a baby. I bumped into her about an hour ago in court. She was delivering some papers and she was there representing a client. She was all over me and insisted we had coffee and a chat. It was then that she told me that the reason for asking about this big age gap relationship was that she had a massive crush on me, but was too scared of damaging our friendship by doing anything about it, but hoped I would. When she finally decided it wasn't going to happen, she left. Of course, I had absolutely no idea this was going on and that this gorgeous young woman had any interest in me beyond friendship. Honestly, I could cry. Wow, feels bad, OP, like real bad. But I mean, I guess you now have to train your senses so that next time you don't make the same mistake. Alright everyone, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos every second day. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.